Hello, and welcome to God of War Ragnarok, a game that literally opens with a pet, Fenrir, dying in order to make you cry. Anyone who knows the lore or has seen a trailer will know that he isn't truly dead, which basically forces you to play for the rest of the game to ensure that he lives. Well played, Santa Monica. Oh, and Kratos and Thor fight each other, which is pretty cool. Honestly, this game should have been titled God of War Avengers Endgame, because a lot of the game is recruiting people from across the 9 realms in order to fight in Ragnarok. The first of that being Tyr, who is found in Svartalfheim. One of the most revolutionary aspects of the game is the fact that you can now play as Atreus. He goes out and tries to recruit Freya. She is still a little bit upset over the death of her son. Kratos, Atreus, and Tyr, who is not Odin in disguise if you were wondering, head to Alfheim in order to learn some lore. Once that is over, the game takes a bold move and turns into a gardening simulator for about an hour and a half. It's here in Ironwood where Atreus meets Angrboda. The two of them put the soul of a giant into a relatively large snake. Giant plus snake. It turns out that Atreus was gone for 2 days, and that makes Kratos a little bit upset, but Freya arrives in order to stop them from fighting. He forces Kratos to join her in garden warfare as they travel to Vanaheim to break the spell binding her to Midgard. It is here where she finally forgives Kratos for killing her son, and the two of them leave on relatively good terms. They also find Freya's brother Freyr, and they reconcile. Back at home, Atreus is a little bit upset over how no one will listen to him, so he runs from home and winds up reaching Asgard. At least the outside of it. This is one of my favorite parts of the game, as you scale the entire wall and get to see each and every bit of progress. Anyway, Atreus reaches the top and meets Hermes, Asgard edition, who takes him down to Odin. Odin wants to help him find the missing pieces to a mask, so he and Thor go to Muspelheim and find it. At the same time, Kratos is a little bit depressed that Atreus ran away, so he and Freya go and search for the Norns, basically the fates of the lands. They tell him that they don't actually control the future, just find everyone's actions so incredibly easy to predict that they basically know the future. I wonder if they know what Kratos did to the fates from Greece. The most important thing that Kratos takes away from the experience is that Heimdall intends to kill Atreus, so he plans on killing him before it can happen. In order to do so, he, with the help of Brock, creates a spear that has the power of Draupnir, a ring that duplicates itself. The thing about Heimdall is that he can see the intentions of everyone, meaning that he essentially sees the future during fights, but since Kratos can follow up an attack by basically blowing up the spear, Heimdall will be overwhelmed. Back in Asgard, Atreus searches for the next fragment of the mask. Odin sends him to Helheim with Thor's daughter, Frud, and together they decide to free a giant dog that clearly is chained up for a reason. It turns out that the mask piece isn't even there, and they actually freed a soulless rabid dog capable of tearing the fabric of reality between the realms. Atreus is too embarrassed to keep working with Odin, so he returns home to Kratos and the two embrace each other. The two of them head back to Helheim in order to resolve the Hellhound issue, in what I consider to be the best boss of the game. I love it when giant bosses actually use their size to fight, rather than just standing in the background and throwing stuff. After defeating it, it turns out that they actually didn't defeat it, so Atreus opts to kill Garm with a different method. It turns out that Fenrir's soul actually went into Atreus' knife, which allows him to transfer his soul into Garm. I don't know what Fenrir was actually like in Norse mythology, and I do not care whatsoever. This is the best depiction of Fenrir objectively and mathematically. With that sorted, they once again head to Vanaheim in order to rescue Freyr. It turns out that someone stole the moon. Wait, was Gru just trying to prevent Ragnarok? Anyway, they find the device holding the moon and put it back in the sky, and Atreus shoots an arrow. Skull chases the sun, thus marking the onset of Ragnarok. After, they continue the search for Freyr, and along the way Kratos finds Heimdall and makes Heim dead. They rescue Freyr, and a sequence begins where Kratos charges through enemy lines before they all get in a flying boat. This guy is tired of being a side character, so he pretends to sacrifice himself, but he actually turns out to be alive as you find him in a side mission. Atreus decides to return to Odin as he believes that he can manipulate him and complete the mask. Sindri gives him a very convenient escape method that I'm sure will not be used. He needs to travel to Niflheim with Thor, but Thor is nowhere to be found. It turns out that he is actually drinking in the bar at Asgard, so... I did not expect this to be in a God of War game. It's arguably one of the best sequences in the game. The two of them once again team up and search for the last mask piece. It seems that Thor is actually starting to like Atreus. Their friendship lasts for a total of 2 minutes after Odin and friends come in to retrieve the mask. Sif convinces him that Atreus is causing problems, but Thor attempts to attack him. That very convenient escape device saves him and sends him right back to the World Tree. With the mask, they all decide that it is time to take down Asgard once and for all. With all of them together, there was absolutely nothing that can... Hey, remember how we rescued Tyr at the very start of the game? It turns out that it was actually Odin the entire time. I have to give the writers props for making a twist that I actually never saw coming. Apparently that was the last straw for Kratos, so he and Atreus leave and return home. Atreus wants to go hunting, but before anything can happen, Kratos tells him that they can't just run away and ignore their problems. They visit Sindri, who isn't very happy to see them before returning to everyone else. They decide to just start Ragnarok and find Surtur in Muspelheim. Not going to lie, for someone so hot, he really is one of the most chill dudes ever.
Ever been in love? It's pretty good.
He agrees to sacrifice himself, but not his wife Samara. They head down... Okay, this place looks pretty cool. Basically, they make Ragnarok and kill some Valkyries. With that, it is truly time to begin Ragnarok. Everyone gathers at Tyr's temple where Kratos blows the Galahorn, opening all of the realms at once. What follows is an Avengers endgame where everyone fights together as they attempt to breach Asgard. The world serpent that Atreus made earlier in the game even shows up. I guess Fenrir must have opened the tear for him, because I have no idea how he would fit through the temple. After breaching Asgard, the world serpent casually gets sent back in time, and Thor asks Kratos for a rematch. He loses, of course, and out of disappointment Odin kills him. Now it is Odin's turn. He loses, of course, but uses a full restore to gain a second health bar. In the end, Atreus sucks his soul out, which matches what the prophecy had shown earlier. And they all learn a valuable lesson, that killing is wrong. Alright, never mind then. Ragnarok shows up before anyone can say anything, and Freyr sacrifices himself because they realize that only one main good character has died at this point. And that's the end of the game. Atreus talks to every character that we have met at this point before he and his father see one last prophecy. Atreus asks to go out on his own, not to his father, but to the people playing the game in order to see if a game about him has any demand. Finally, Kratos sees another prophecy that depicts him being praised and worshipped, something that he never thought was possible. I wonder how all the people he has killed feel about him nowadays. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, thank you. Be sure to subscribe to see more. If you truly did enjoy this video, I can guarantee that you will enjoy this video.